So the Los Angeles Lakers this season have been pretty underwhelming, starting off with the season of 23 and 23. Now, one of the reasons why they've been pretty bad is, because of defensive effort. And one player that I'm going to be talking about today could help them a lot on defense. So before we get into the video, I appreciate you guys drop a like and press the sub button. If I sound a little bit down on energy right now, it's because I do have COVID, so I'm trying to just, get some videos out. And if there's a lot of cuts in the video, it's because I'm coughing, or I'm just trying to sniffle, but there's probably going to be a lot of cuts in the video. Hopefully there isn't. If there isn't, then it's fine. But yeah, I appreciate you guys drop a like and press the sub button. Hopefully I can get over this COVID stuff pretty soon, but I appreciate you guys drop a like and press the sub button. But getting back into the video, the Lakers, in terms of defense, they really don't have too many defenders on the team. Just to name a few: Avery Bradley, pretty great defender. Anthony Davis, he is out, but still one of their better defenders. And LeBron James, Stanley Johnson, two other good defenders right there. But everyone else has been pretty lackluster on this roster. And just looking at the roster overall, there's a lot of old heads on the team. Carmelo, 37 years old. Trevor Ariza, 36. Ken Bazemore, 32. Avery Bradley, 31. There's a lot of old heads. And bringing in another person that could play some defense while being in his early 30s could help them a lot. So today we're going to be talking about Robert Covington to the Los Angeles Lakers. It's going to be a pretty short video. I can't really talk for a long periods of time. My voice, my throat has been pretty sore the last few days, but hopefully we can power through this video. But Robert Covington to the Los Angeles Lakers, I think it could happen. One way it could happen is through the buyout. Now, the only way I see this happening is if the Blazers don't really see them making the play-in tournament, and they're going to start rebuilding. With Dame out for 6 weeks, CJ McCollum coming back but looking, on and off. Simon's performing well while Damian Lillard is sitting out. They could look to be in a rebuilding position, and, they could buy out Robert Covington, have him in the buyout market, and then, the Lakers could sign him on a veteran minimum. But that's one way I could see him, come to the Lakers. Obviously, the other way is trading for him. Now, the Lakers don't have too many trade pieces to work with. Honestly, their best trade piece is, what's his name? Kendrick Nunn, but he hasn't even played a game this season. So I'm not really too sure how the Lakers would get a Robert Covington deal done. They did offer like a Kendrick Nunn, THT, and a first-round pick for, Jeremy Grant, and, obviously that got declined. So maybe that type of trade package could get a Robert Covington. They do get a 26-year-old Kendrick Nunn and a 21-year-old Taylor Horton-Tucker, which could help them in the rebuild. Now, I'm not saying that the Blazers would accept that deal, but if they are rebuilding, then it would be a really good sign for them. They do get a first-round pick. They do get a Taylor Horton-Tucker, who is 21, and a Kendrick Nunn, who's 26. So they can get a good 6-man out of Kendrick Nunn, a good forward in Taylor Horton-Tucker, and a first-round pick. But I think that first-round pick is going to be in like 2027. That's their first-round pick they get in the next few years. But honestly, if it's for Robert Covington, someone that can play some great defense and shoot the ball, I'm all for it. And if we're looking at overall stats this season, 8 points per game. If we're looking at shooting splits, 40 from the field, which is, I think, a career low. Actually, it is, yeah. Career low for Robert Covington, 40% from the field. If we're looking at three-point percentage, 36 from three. He's been an average three-point shooter his whole career, shooting at 36%, but he could provide some great 3-and-D play style for this Los Angeles Lakers team that definitely needs some good defense, because a lot of times when I watch the Lakers, the defensive effort on this team has not been up there. And, adding in Robert Covington, who actually is averaging a block and a steal a game, which is pretty surprising to me, he could actually help this Lakers team a lot. And I don't know, fitting in with the system, he fits in with a lot of systems for actually any team in the league, with this 3-and-D type of play style. He could fit in at the 3 or the 4. Now, if the Lakers trade for Robert Covington, I'd probably see the starting lineup of Russell Westbrook, probably Malik Monk, LeBron James, Covington, and then Anthony Davis, assuming that he is back. But assuming that he isn't back, they could run Covington at the 5, small ball 5, or, LeBron at the 5, Covington at the 4, Carmelo at the 3. They could do a lot of things with Covington. He's a multi-positional player, so that can guard 1 through 5 too, which is the best part. So if the Lakers do get Robert Covington, he could be a very, very valuable asset. And in the playoffs too, he could be really, very valuable. Say, Andy Davis is out. He could sub in at the 5, LeBron at the 5. They could do a lot of things, but hopefully the Lakers can get Robert Covington. I think it should be pretty easy, considering that he is 31 years old on a Blazers team that hasn't been looking too great. So hopefully they can at least, conjure up a good trade package enough to at least acquire some pieces that could play some defense. But honestly, I really wanted to be Robert Covington because he's probably one of my favorite players in the league. Somebody can just fit in a lot of positions in a lot of teams. And honestly, he's been, in Houston, he was pretty great, to say the least. In the bubble, he hasn't been, in the 7 games before the playoffs, he didn't play too well. But then obviously against the OKC, he played, lights out. But yeah, hopefully he can get back to that Houston Rockets prime. I wouldn't even say that was his prime, honestly. It was probably in Philadelphia where he was the all defensive first team, I want to say. I don't know, man. Robert Covington, he's a good player. On the Lakers, he would help them a lot. And, hopefully they can just conjure up a good package. So that's the video. I'm GDC, and I'm out. Peace.